Well, Vinoo Varghese is a defence attorney and former prosecutor and joins me now. And Vinoo Varghese, thank you for joining us here on BBC World News. What's your reaction to this verdict?
Well, I think this verdict was predestined. There was a number of rulings that were made that, in my view, were not correct by the judge to allow a number of these other women to testify when there are two women who he's facing criminal charges for, but now allowing a bunch of other people to come in and testify against him to basically say he's a bad guy and throw a bunch of smoke out there to make him look like a bad guy.
But
Look,
rather than smoke...
Harvey Weinstein may be a bad guy, but it didn't mean he's actually guilty of these charges.
But
and ultimately, he's convicted of 2 of the 5 charges.
Sure, but rather than smoke, the prosecution would argue that they wanted to confirm or affirm the fact that they were accusing him of predatory assault and to therefore underline his predatory nature. So in that way, what they did was actually to try and underline this charge against him, no?
Well, no, actually, the predatory assault under the law, this is where it gets a little technical. He was acquitted of those counts. So they didn't believe the Annabella Sciorra. They didn't believe the Tony Soprano's mistress.
They didn't believe them, but you can hardly blame the defense for putting them forward, can you?
No, I mean the prosecution. No, they didn't believe Annabella Sciorra. And also they acquitted of the more serious charge against the primary accuser. They acquitted him of rape in the 1st degree. So ultimately the question is this a victory? Well, the DA here in Manhattan, who you just showed some of the press conference for him, it may have saved his political career because he's able to get some skin out of the, some teeth, a little bit of nudge here. Look, ultimately this case is going to be decided in the appellate courts. The question is, how long is Harvey Weinstein going to be around? He's an old, overweight, obese man who's probably going to either die or get shanked in prison in the next year. So this case may ultimately resolve itself that way. But ultimately, is this a real win? When you look at it from a legal point of view, when you pile on, one of the fundamental precepts here in America is that you can't make the argument that somebody has a propensity to commit crimes. So you're not supposed to allow propensity evidence. So when you're bringing in all these other women to say he did similar things, did they actually, the 2 women who were at the center of this, did they actually believe these women, or did they just say, you know what, there's a lot of stuff here, he probably did it? And there's enough things going on where they're going to have a very healthy appeal, assuming Harvey Weinstein lives to see it through.
Okay, Vinoo Varghese, it's so good to have you on the programme. Thank you very much for your time.